Today we're going to see how to visualize a variable. First off, let's define a variable so we can understand how to visualize and paint a picture of what's happening. So when understanding what a variable is, we need to give it a definition. So the definition of a variable is an addressable container in memory that holds a type. So let's break this down. We know a variable is an addressable container in memory. So what is the memory? The memory is in the RAM. So we can label this as RAM. And the RAM is basically on your motherboard that allows you to allocate or deallocate data. Those words may sound a little big or confusing, but it basically just means either create or delete data. So let's first visualize this by creating a grid. This is how I like to visualize the RAM. The RAM as individual blocks. So let's go back to the definition. A variable is an addressable container. What's a container? Well, a container can be thought of as a box. So if we square one of these boxes, this can be labeled as a container. This is a container here. And if it's a container, it's addressable. So what this means is, imagine you have a house. A house is also like a block or a container. To be able to find what house someone lives in or to see or locate where some store is, it needs to have an address. If not, it'd be almost impossible to find where it is. So, same thing here, the container has an address. So we can label this address as being OX10. Usually addresses are written in hexadecimal. For instance, OX10. So now let's go back to what a variable is. A variable is an addressable, we covered that, container in memory, covered that in the RAM, that holds a type. So what is the type here? So for instance, there's things labeled as a char, an int, a string. Those are things that are called types. It basically allows you to specify what data a container holds. For instance, this one can hold an integer. So if it's an integer, it could label values like 1, 2, 3, or even the number 4. So if we were to write this in syntax and say int num is equal to 2, this means we're creating a container named num that has the address OX10, its type is an integer, and it has the value of 2. So we need to add the value 2 to this container. So we put it as labeled here. Now we've created our first variable, which is an addressable container in memory that holds a type. So let's practice again. Let's do another one. If we say char named character equals C, we're making a char, which is a container. So let's make a container, has the type char, labeled above. It's obviously a variable, so it has to be addressable. Let's label it OX30, for instance. And it has the value of C. Let's put C in here. So now that's how you can visualize a variable in C or C++.